It is time, guys. Sorry for leaving you waiting, of course, but we're finally ready to get things going here on Anubis. All the server issues that we were having there smoothed out. We want optimal performance for both of these teams, of course, kicking off the season. And this should be exciting, as we both mentioned, Retro. It's our first opportunity actually getting to cast Anubis here, so a bit of a learning experience for both of us, perhaps, and for the teams, because I'm not too sure if either of them have got any officials here yet. There's obviously not too much to go off of on HLTV. They haven't got any there. But it's hard to tell because there's a lot of tournaments in the region that aren't actually put up there.
Yes, indeed. So, Anubis, the new map to the pool. Let's see what both teams have in store for us here. Eruption starting on that T side and already wanting to take that control towards water early on. You can see Clutch aren't quite happy with this, though. They want to get aggressive, and look at this fight. Yami will go out on top for the Eruption side. First one goes in favor of the T's. The nice, a bit of aggression coming out. But, of course, there's a trade from Eruption, 4v3.
Straight away, we're seeing a very aggressive stance from, well, really both teams. Clutch wanted aggression on both B and A. Unfortunately, it has at this point backfired pretty poorly. A 2-on-4, a lot of damage being received here as well for Histeka. And I'm not loving Stardust's chance, especially as he's left completely alone. No kit in his possession, and really it should be impossible at this point for Eruption to let this pistol round slip away from them. A strong start, it looks like, on their opponent's map choice. Perhaps a bit of confidence to be taken back by Stardust, at least if he can tap away a few heads, but unfortunately it will be limited to one in the salvage department. A relatively quick pistol round and, well, a pretty secure rifle buy coming in off the back of it as well to ensure that they're not going to be dropping anything here because, as we said, learning curve, you could maybe get caught out by some of these angles and such with these pistols. So trying to ensure their buy is as safe as possible.
Signs on it as well, of course. Clutch Gaming going for the force buy, a couple of Deagles, a couple of 5.7s, an SMG involved as well. A little bit of utility to work with as well, so certainly want to pose a bit of a threat in this round. Only issue is, of course, it's the majority of pistol buy versus 4 rifles and a MAC-10, which could be a serious money maker for that T side. Sick pre-fire from Yami to start the round. There you go, that's the thing, right? Is that how much have you been practicing the map? Clearly, Eruption a little bit more so, because they have definitely nailed that first shot, and now Dobu, of course, off the back of it, wants to make space and take contact towards the double doors in middle. He'll be rewarded with a second frag as IZR dropped, and now it's just up to 9-10 here, dancing back and forth between the doors and the open angle. 10 points of health for Dobu, but that Deagle will never see the light of day. Yami's USP to put him to rest, and it is Stardust against 5.
Yeah, I think we're seeing within the first couple of rounds why Eruption chose this map, and it makes sense. I mean, it's a very rare opportunity that you have a new map first coming into the pool that other teams aren't going to know that you can put the time into to have a marginable advantage over other teams. So Eruption clearly taking that opportunity while it is there for themselves, and, well, a pretty well handled round there as well. Not really dropping anything. They'll be able to come through, probably take another clean round here, really start building up that economy. And with them being on the T side, of course, that's going to be a pretty strong economy built up within the first few rounds already, especially if they keep getting the bomb plants. Are we paused? It does look like we have a little bit of a pause going at the moment. I would presume a technical issue, it looks like, because we are going to be here for at least a couple of minutes.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's server issue or like ping issue, right? Like that's the main issues that we have here in the Asia Pacific region. Just finding the sweet spot where both teams, you know, have an acceptable server to play on. Got to think how big the countries are over there, right? It's like a lot of land space being covered. Servers are quite difficult to give everyone fair, even playing ground. Obviously, Eruption winning the first 2 rounds. The pistol was quite fair. Second one expected when it's your rifles against your Deagles and what have you. But now we're on round 3 and on the USPs, I guess, just before they head into the force buy, or rather the full buy. They just want to make sure everything's all right. Guessing as well that's probably one that's going to last a little while, so we'll come back to us and we'll have a little chat. Dean, don't think there's much we can talk about from the first 2 rounds. I think it's a bit eager if we do. Something to note though, I think the only thing that I've picked up upon quite quickly is Eruption seem very comfortable on the map in terms of taking fights, knowing angles, kind of understanding the positions that they're playing in. It was a really nice pistol round. We saw a glimpse out of the Clutch Gaming side in that Clutch scenario, but other than that, right, it's been very straightforward, very one-way traffic-esque for the side of Eruption. They have just been blasting through, really, and putting up decent numbers to begin with.
Yeah, I mean, as we can see already, their money's going to get into a pretty solid position by the time they go up against any sort of guns. But, I mean, it's, as you were saying, being a bit presumptive at this point to make any sort of final conclusion, because the pistol round itself, they tried something a bit wilder with the initial B push, and then Once they spotted the amount of presence there, tried the A push as well, but it had been read perfectly by Eruption on that T side, and they managed to shut down the A aggression. At that point, the round was already done within like 20 seconds of it starting. So, I mean, there wasn't tons going on there. We'll have to see once the real rifles come out, once we get an opportunity to see how they're going to approach the CT side. Then, of course, still not too sure if we've got info of exactly what this problem is. Hopefully it's a quick one. We don't like sitting around too long, especially when only 2 rounds have been played out. At the very least, they'll be coming back into an eco on that CT side, so you're not really expecting too much anyway. They'll get a moment to kind of warm themselves back up before they go onto the guns, because it can be annoying when you're sitting there with the rifles you're already purchased up, you're waiting to just get back into the action.
Yeah, you know, it sounds bad, like, to prey on a tech pause, but that's, like, the best possible time to get one, right? As you said, like, you're on USPs. Doesn't really matter the outcome of the round in the next coming round. I think it's the one afterwards, right, where you're on those rifles, as you said, where we go for M4s. Is there going to be enough for an AWP? I don't quite remember the CT side economy. I don't think there will be enough for one. But I will be interested in a little bit intrigued to see how the T side pans out, because I know a lot of people, there's been this debate recently, you know, in terms of team structure. Do you try and take water early on? Do you focus on a site? Like, we still don't quite know the fundamentals, Dean, on how the top teams play this map, and there's going to be a lot of learning. The only other time we've seen this tournament in an S-tier event was the Blast Global Final, right? That's the only other time we've seen Anubis in the map pool being played. So this really is a second stab at it, not only for Asia, but for Europe as well, and obviously for the American region as well. To see Anubis, right? See what happens, see how teams play it. And by the time we get to playoffs, you know, in a few weeks from now, Dean, and you know, in a couple of months down the line, maybe only just we'll start to see teams actually finding that rigid formation on how to play Anubis.
Yeah, we're not going to be seeing any crazy kind of smoke plays or anything, I wouldn't imagine, for taking control or anything along those lines. As you were saying, kind of just feel it out, play off of the defaults, a bit of trial and error to try and find out what works. And the best way to do that is to just kind of play for the picks and try and see what sort of weaknesses you can spot on the CT side. I'll be more interested, I think, to see what way teams play the CT side, what sort of approach they have in terms of aggression and such. Because, I mean, it's a little bit easier to get some of those things locked down between 2 of the players on a bomb site than it would between an entire team for that T side execute or whatever. So definitely going to be keeping an eye on that as soon as the guns come out on the clutch gaming side.
Yeah, I think the most memorable kind of player, the piece of the Blast Global Final was OG Dexter, right? He had he dropped like 37 kills, I think. He went like 37 and 18 on Anubis against Heroic, right? That was a massive game. That was one of the first times we've seen it. And I think the key piece for the CT side is the AWP being proactive. I think we saw it out of James as well in the Global Final. We saw it a few times where AWPers wouldn't just stay in one position. You know, they'd look towards mid, they'd go towards B. Very questionable in terms of the movement, right? To try and keep your enemies guessing. That's like the thing that they want to do best. But ultimately, you know, we already know that regions like to play Counter-Strike a little bit more differently, Dean. So maybe the Asian scene, the Asia-Pacific scene has a little spin on it and a change that they want to do with the AWP. You know, maybe they're going to play it more shotgun heavy, make contact plays, you know, go aggressive, get the picks, rather than just posting up, getting a kill, rotating elsewhere. It's going to be interesting to see that dynamic. You know, a lot of learning to be done in this first season.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's just going to come down to the players at the moment. I think we've had it confirmed that it's just a config issue at the moment. I'm not sure whether that's a player config or a server config or whatever, but that shouldn't be something that's too difficult to resolve. Actually, an observer config. So my 2 guesses were both wrong, apparently.
Missing.
Yeah, I'm not too sure if we're going to maybe take a break before then. I'm not too sure if our producer wants to go ahead and throw it over. Yeah, we will. We'll send it over there for a couple of minutes just while they get that fixed up, and then we'll be hopping right back into the actual gameplay once that's done. All right, everyone. We are... Whoa. Okay, we get a triple nade kill to kick things off, Retro. That I
Welcome back, mate.
can't remember the last time I've even seen a triple nade kill.
Yeah,
Against an eco, but still.
Yeah, exactly. We were just talking about it before we headed to the break, right? That they are literally on USPs, all 5 of them. We weren't expecting something massive to come out of the hands of Clutch Gaming. You know, a kill or two would have been amazing. But it's just one of them, right? That if it doesn't happen, you're not going to be hurt about it. You've just got to move on. And now, of course, we bring in the rifles. There is a double AWP setup here for Clutch Gaming. That's something that comes completely out of left field. Just because I was expecting, even if they were going to go for it, they were going to go for one AWP. Never mind, one AWP on half armor and then a glass cannon on top of it. That's a little bit rogue here from Clutch Gaming. Let's see if they can make it stick.
Yeah, I mean, we just seen the sort of damage the nades can do as well a moment ago, so we'll have to see whether that could perhaps come back to bite them. 9-10 for now, just holding towards water, but if he steps forward, Fury, I think, is going to be ready for him. Did already spot the leg as well. The exchange will actually go the way of 9-10. There we go. It pays off. That initial frag comes off the back of the op. Now they have the ability to perhaps slow things down a small bit. That early advantage going to negate slightly the fact that they have very little utility at this point. We're still over a minute on the clock.
Problem is, for Clutch Gaming, is look at the dots on the minimap, right? You have no information, no pressure, no nothing. You're just backs against the wall, hoping you can hold down the site. I mean, the furthest bit of aggression is Tamir, obviously out towards B. It's not ideal. Just looking to maybe line up some util towards A. The bomb stuck around. A couple of these players just clearing out spawn. They thought maybe they expected someone to have pulled out the complete flank. That's not going to be the case. And now the M4A1S goes pressuring forward. Brilliant bit of time in there for Clutch Gaming in general. Able to escape as well. Really well played. Now Eruption down to 3. They are going to try and make their move in towards B. Obviously having that control is important. And now they'll move in towards E-box as well. Yeah, I was going to say, got to be careful. Positioning is very important here. Just got to isolate a fight, isolate the other. And there's your first fight. Great shot. Stardust can't hit anything with the AWP either. This is the issue now. A double AWP on a retake is never going to be looking too good, especially when Koulas is hitting shots as well.
Yeah, the numbers starting to dwindle back down. The health still slightly in favor of Clutch at this point, but they don't actually have a kit even to work with on this retake, so they need to move pretty quickly. And well, it's working out so far. The frags do begin to sway back. It's all onto Dobu, trapped in the back corner. There really wasn't much to be done. He had 3 different angles to try and actually contend with that they were all peeking in from. If perhaps an op shot was missed and if he snapped back quickly onto IZR, then that would have been his chance, but it was a very specific scenario for him to even have a small opportunity at winning the round. So, a kill. The bomb plant, of course, being put down as well, considering they had gone into that round with quite a few weaker weapons as the bonus round. I think they'll be okay with losing it in the long run, but just making it as costly as possible. Of course, that's if they can manage to fire back here now. They've still got some more money after this, sure, but they have the opportunity at this moment to potentially put Clutch back on towards the eco. And that's going to be the goal for Eruption. Flash over for the potential push through B once again. I don't think Tamir will actually want to commit to it this time. There's a much heavier commitment from Eruption this time around.
Good volley, but a little too over-aggressive. A solo push coming out there from Tamir, and that's just going to catch them completely off guard. Playing that 45. Still the double AWP setup as well. At least we have some, you know, Kevlars and a little bit of util to work with as well. But yet again, feels like a little bit of a threat. Too much to that CT side economy going for the double big green. We'll see though. Stardust trying to edge his way forward. That's a sick adjustment onto Fury. No chance that the AK-47 was going to best him there. Could land a second shot as well, but it's through the wall. Sick adjustment coming out from Shinobi. And now, of course, all of a sudden, 3v4. Eruption want to explode. They want to take the impulsiveness somewhere. And while they head towards B, IZR, the only man to try and defend. And that's short-lived as well as Yami guts out the B site, and that should give Eruption a 4th.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a fairly decisive 4th as well. The question is, do they want to save this up in FAMAS now? There's very little money in the reserve, especially on these 2 players that are left standing. They want to ensure that they'll have something in this next round. And I mean, even with these 2 weapons being saved, is it going to push them towards the 45? Not too sure. That's if both weapons are carried over. That should be a nice little upgrade, at least for Histeka. And yeah, I mean, Eruption, they've got a bit of money though, so if they really want to, they can afford to go ahead and commit these players to the hunt. Although I don't think you want to send Yami with the op.
Nah, I mean, it would just be a little bit silly if you were to commit your own AWP, right, into a Clutch Gaming economy that doesn't look so great, where an AWP actually, you already know that they were abusing the double AWP setup. Probably don't want to give them that secondary big green. But indeed, an easy pick-up here for Eruption. They are looking good here on the T side, Dean, I think it's safe to say. They've really kept their numbers about them. They know what they're doing. Trades have been pretty on point, other than, losing that first gun round earlier on. They've been pretty solid in formation. And Eruption haven't really deviated from the success that they've been having from the get-go.
Yeah, I mean, you're seeing solid play even when the round's basically over. As I was saying, I didn't want Yami to throw the op away there. It did look like initially he was about to go through water, but he was like, nah, screw that. I'll go back and just join my teammates and play it safe. As you said, you definitely don't want to be giving them the double op back, since it was their kind of go-to play there in the first gun round. Nothing around water, at least in the initial moments. So Steak is going to find some way his aggression up through mid, but he gets caught by the boost over the smoke. A little bit of a change up from Eruption. I mean, considering they are only stuck on pistols and such here, and then the one-up, you needed something in the initial moments. We needed a few risks to be taken, but I would have liked if it was backed up by another player, considering that was the AK, of course, there that was out. And Mir pretty heavily committed in here as well. Is going to be double peaked. Not really much that he can get done other than a small bit of damage off of the nade. So, yeah, looking straightforward enough so far. We'll see whether perhaps there can be a weapon stolen away here. Nope, completely read by Fury.
And this is what I mean, right? We're starting to see the experience in terms of the practice capacity, right? The scrimming that Eruption have been doing on this map. They seem very comfortable in sort of the mid-round calls, very confident in how they're playing individually, but also as a team. Feels like they're relying very heavily on one another. And we're not seeing that similar cohesion out of Clutch Gaming, right? You mentioned at the start of the round Hasteka being dropped early doors. That was one of two saved weapons. The AK-47 and the AWP were obviously brought forward, and the automatic rifle just kind of sits on its own and waits to be taken down, really. I mean, the AWP at least going to find some success. 9-10 picking up his second of Anubis so far. But again, feels pretty clouded by the success that Eruption have been having here. Small wins for Clutch Gaming considering it was an eco, but it is a win on the board for Eruption, taking them to a 5th. And so far, it has been so great here on Anubis. Another shot from 9-10 though, so at least making it costly. The AWP is still going as well, Dean. 3 in the round for Clutch Gaming.
A little bit slow in the reactions there from Cool. See if he warms up at some point. Oh, 9-10 not quite able to get that one, and well, with the limited bullets now as well, that could have been a problem. Thankfully for him, the bomb already gone. There wasn't much time left on the clock. We have a 5-1 scoreline for Eruption. Second shot though at the gun round for Clutch Gaming, and they call the same decision. They say, okay, let's get this double up, keep it going. Of course, let's see if we can manage to make it work this time, now that we have a little bit more support in terms of the utility. And by a little bit more, I mean exponentially more. They had a few smokes and flashes the last time. This time everyone pretty much has the full kit going.
It's another double AWP setup as well, Dean. I mean,
boost again.
Oh yeah, I was going to say that boost. It's a good one to do, but you've just got to be very careful, because as you can see, if it's done correctly, you reap such a sick reward. That's one of the rifles gone. Double AWP set up yet again for the CT side, so every buy just that little bit more expensive, and already being punished in the early round here. Dean, okay. Shinobi, impatient on the smoke. Gets caught out because of it. 9-10 AWP picking up yet another. Those as well making contact towards B, but it's towards Connector that Yami's able to catch down IZR, and all of a sudden, Eruption yet again with a man advantage.
9-10 is quick on this up. I'm liking what we're seeing from him. He's recovering what was looking to be a pretty dire situation. Tamir nearly caught as he was coming out from that smoke right there. That could have been awkward instead. He actually drops the bomb and manages to at least put a bit of an idea as to what the plan was here for Eruption. His teammate though in trouble, and on the bomb site, mollied out, flushed into the open, and well, a kill in sync there from the op leaves it all now onto Stardust. A 1-on-2. He's going to need a big clutch if he wants to salvage this round for his team. Trades out to the rifle at least to give himself a bit of a better shot. Has the full utility still to potentially work his way in towards that bomb. He's hoping for a mistake, really. Fortunately, then it's not going to be given to him. They've put themselves outside of the site here, just set up to play the time on that bomb, and with a bit of utility of their own, I was going to say, with a HE, they could put that down, do some good damage at the very least onto the bomb site, but doesn't matter. The first contact from the op is good enough to make it happen. A very slow creep into the crosshair didn't make things all that difficult, in fairness.
Yeah, I mean, you raised a very good point in that scenario. Is Eruption exited through main after planting in the reverse of default, right? They planted for Heaven, for Brick, for Connector, sort of the CT side of the map rather than the T.
Yeah, that
and
ended up
then
confusing me. I just
decided
presumed.
to go the other way around. So don't quite know what the shout is there, but hey, listen, it works. They get themselves a 6th. The AWP just holds the cross, and Eruption were comfortable playing that way. And I guess, as you said, right, utility was pretty good to just try and deny the defuse happening in the post plant. Nonetheless, another tech pause to come in this time. At least we have a bigger sample size to chat about before things get back underway. Clutch Gaming on Eco here. They've got a couple of Deagles, one M4 invested onto Tamir, but other than that, Eruption, a very, very sturdy game of Counter-Strike so far. In fact, it might have even been tactical as the time at the top deceives.
I've got to say, Steka isn't looking the most comfortable playing his position so far, so we'll have to see if that steps up in the next gun rounds. That actually looked like it could have gotten pretty dangerous. Tamir, unfortunately, not able to stand his ground for the second kill. They emerged through the smoke, and, well, then do have control of the B-bomb site, taking their time as well, not rushing that bomb plant, ensuring they could get the utility down, hold off all the positions. Knowing, of course, they'll have one less capable hand as that bomb was actually going down. It's only Deagles, though, here for Clutch, so while their chances at the retake are very slim, they may as well stick around, see what sort of damage they can get done. Considering it is kind of getting out of hand already at this point. It's about to be 7-1. The economy may be not as strong as it could be at this point, not on everyone anyway, but you have Cool, who has a pretty solid economy behind them. Dobu has loads as well, as long as he doesn't die this round and hangs on to the op, of course. Here we go, backing out. Clutch not actually going to push the issue too much. Happy enough to keep armor on one player, a couple of Deagles to back up the buy in the next round. And at this point, they just need a drastic turnaround in performance.
Yeah. I mean, this is the thing, right? The argument that I made in the pre-game that a lot of people at home maybe were questioning as to why I would mention. But you've got to understand, T-side, it's very, very doable to kind of go 7-6 rounds, you know, kind of like a pretty deep T-side in the grand scheme of things for Counter-Strike. You can see Shinobi dropping the instant E-box smoke, so that's just going to land to cut off circulation. And my guess would be Eruption are going to try and do a bit of a B play here, just because, you know, you've got that smoke down, mid quite vacant, someone's going to hold it, and you can see already Fury trying to make his way through towards E-box. And this is the kind of fast pace that caught Clutch out in the last round, seeing if they can do it again. It's 9-10 that kicks things off with a bang here as his AWP able to catch Yami.
Oh, I mean, he was pretty close on getting that kill there himself while spamming Drew, and unfortunately he ends up being the victim. The man advantage they had early claimed, unfortunately, not going to stick around for too long. They are still sitting in a decent position, though. I mean, Fury's on 7 health, Shinobi slightly tagged up as well. The only problem is they're pretty limited with what info they have. They don't realize this B-bomb site is already being set up, of course. Not quite ready to burst on yet. There's 2 players who are still a little bit further back, waiting actually for another push to come through, and they will get it from Stardust. Dobu was being cautious of a potential flank, wasn't ready to be able to trade initially. Thankfully for him, Stardust continues to overextend, though. Alone with the bomb at the moment, needs to try and hold out and potentially slow rotations as he puts that smoke down, waiting for his teammates to get around through long.
Sick Fury, Dobu another. Oh man. Eruption just burst onto the site. That was a 3v3. They're able to slice those odds down even further and really have just wriggled themselves into a unlosable post plant here. Clutch Gaming, second best again in this round. And Dean, you know, sometimes we accept slow starts, especially map 1 of the BO3. It does happen to try and warm into a series. Problem is, CT side Anubis, ideally we need to start seeing some competency out of this CT side, some round count, just some damage being done. Eruption are walking away with round after round right now, and little to no pushback given away by the CT side.
Yeah, this is way more one-sided than I was expected coming into this game, to be honest. I'm a little bit surprised. I mean, if it was to happen on any map, though, it does make sense that it would be Anubis. Very clearly, Eruption have put the time in. And while Clutch have probably had a few practices, you can see they're nowhere near as comfortable. It seems like they're just happy to stay with this kind of default that they have going. They're not trying to switch it up too much or anything.
I think they are trying to play for the
really enough
right
now against Eruption, who seem to have made this maybe even their favorite map. We'll find out in the long run, but I'm liking the style that they're approaching it with.
Certainly.
I think it's... Of course. Have to see a much wider... Yeah. I don't even know what maps they play, let alone what their favorite map is. So An AUG,
This is my favourite, so I don't mind that. Yeah, you know what? It's a bit of a trivial one because I think you know, a few of us at home will certainly meme the fact that there's an AUG being used. Speedy on alternate attacks a couple of days ago was using it in an entire BO3, so I'm wondering, you know, maybe in this case it was a misbuy, but I have been seeing people opting the AUG over the M4 or maybe the AWP in some cases. Nice double from Stardust to bring things down to the 2v2. It isn't the AUG, it's the AK for the CT side. Great swing from Kulas. Now it's a 1v2, 9-10. He's going to get taken down as well. Bomb plant to come out just for the extra cash. Nope, not happening. But it doesn't matter. It's Eruption up to 9-1 now.
Yeah, it's been absolute destruction. I mean, yeah, the AUG is pretty solid when you're playing these angles that you might want to post on cannon-wise with an op, but you're not one of the oppers on the team, and he had the money, so I mean, it makes sense considering the scoreline. Take your chances wherever you can get them at this point. Spend that bit of extra cash if you have it. You won't really be able to think about using it in the future for too long, so more about the present, I suppose. Kulas again with the opening kill and a very easy second follow-up. I was waiting for it. It was just a very slow peek in. He even reads the rotation back through water. Won't expect the final player here coming in from the spawn side of things, and Hesteka manages to get himself a double. Suddenly it's a 2-on-2. Okay, this round rather is completely flipped on its head. Isiardo in a pretty awkward spot, having dropped down into the water, will eventually get taken out by Shinobi, and that leaves it all on Hesteka. Gonna need to manage to double the kills he's already gotten, take the quad overall if he wants to clutch this one out. But it's very doable. Shinobi's low on health already. He had a rough idea where he was. Yami's position, though, is completely unknown, but it looks like he may, for now, manage to bypass him. And there's a lot of time on the clock still, which is necessary considering the bomb is miles away.
The clock isn't moving, so I'm guessing...
Oh, is it not? What? When did
No.
I didn't notice that.
No, I didn't either, mate. I looked up for a second and then, you know, just then looked up again. I was like, well, it's not changed. Hesteka, nice shot onto Yami. It is just now the 1v1. Shinobi also low on HP, yet to scoop up the bomb, but now we'll get it. I'm guessing there's about 40 seconds left on this round. Still enough time to edge it out towards B. He's expecting Hesteka to either go aggressive or to rotate, right? Because in the 1v1, Shinobi probably wants to walk into the vacant site. He does so. But does he expect the flank from behind? Checking in towards E-Box. You're never expecting Hesteka to be hit. Yeah, I was going to say, put your molly away, just play with your gun out, because he's never going to expect the flank to be this soon. And there you have it, player spotted. Shinobi, does he turn at the right time? He won't, he certainly won't. And as he jumps up, Hesteka will catch him off guard. A sick 1v2 to give Clutch Gaming their second. A lot of work to be done, but that's the pivotal point. They've got to use this as momentum. They've got to get back into this game.
Yeah, and I think it may as well have been the 1v4 as well. He took out the 2 kills on the bomb site to actually salvage them back into even the potential 1-on-2 that he had to clutch out in the end. So, yeah, great work. I mean, it's an opportunity, but they only live with a single player. The rebuy here is actually going to cost them pretty much everything. And, well, there's not really any weaknesses to the buy itself. They are lacking a kit, unless Stardust rather should get one. Yeah, we'll get one in the end, but nades could also be slightly better. Either way, they're looking at this point, I would imagine, for the remaining 4 rounds to come out with 6. That would leave them in doable position, at least moving into that second half. Tamir, he loves this B aggression. This time, no one up close that he has to contend with. They managed to flash off the man who was holding a bit further back as well, so he can be left there. They can take a little bit of a rotation and stack things a bit heavier over towards that A side of things instead. Although they're actually just going to continue with the aggression through B. Tamir doesn't care. Might actually get wrapped on himself here by Yami if he's not careful.
Flank. Oh, there's one. There's a second on the cards. Tamir. Really nice double. Really, really sick flank. And again, this is where they're getting proactive, getting aggressive. Yami should get a player off. God, what's just happened? No. How has he got second best in that fight, Yami? Tamir's just able to wander everywhere, bunny hopping around the map. He's just found a triple in the round. And Eruption's attack blasted down by one player, a pair of hands, causing so much misery here. The CT side now, not much else to do than just to wait out the clock.
straightforward on the initial shot, but a really nice repeat then from 910 with a little flick as well. 5 left standing, perfect. They keep everyone alive. They can go ahead and get all their utility now. They can bolster up and ensure here that they're on good track to come out with the final few rounds, which really will salvage the situation, considering it was 9-1. If they can manage to pull it back even towards 5 at that point, I would say that that's a pretty good recovery. They're going to probably need a lot more, though, considering the T side we've seen from Eruption. I'm expecting their CT side to also have a pretty solid showing of coordination. Again, this boost going to be coming through. It's caught State got off guard a few times. Will it be successful again? He's tucked in on the left side this time. Actually spots the boost, but Shinobi deals with it. They burst through the smoke at the same time. Very well played by Eruption. Living up to their name, really, through the smoke. Yami with a follow-up on the IZR as well, and it's just collapsed, really. They're not even going to need to go ahead and follow through with the commitment yet. They have plenty of time, even if we don't know exactly how much. And with the 2 damaged players especially, you want to try and utilize the numbers advantage here as much as you can.
Jiggling Stardust just trying to hold down mid as best as he can, just to give 910 some protection so we can focus on A main, and that's exactly what happens there. Able to pick apart one with a big green, peek out, Stardust. Not great timing, but able to duck into cover before Yami actually finds the frag. And a Molotov towards Connector is going to force the AWP away, and actually, this might just keep Clutch Gaming lingering towards A that little bit longer, because they do want to head towards B, and they are going to go for exactly that. Double smokes it in, a counter smoke to the molly on E-Box, but Stardust drops one of his own, a boost over the top required. Nade will do integral damage, and it will chip away at Last even more, but the AWP's able to pick up one over the top, 3v2.
Leaving it all on the 910 though. We'll wrap around. Trying to hopefully catch some sort of aggression. Fortunately, it's not looking like anyone on Eruption really wants to make that mistake of pushing forward and giving him the first inch of ground. I think at this point you consider to save $900 in the bank. You look at the economy for the team and you realize 3 players will have enough to buy. It's definitely worthwhile just carrying this weapon forward. Even getting an exit kill at this point wouldn't do too much damage to Eruption, at least not enough to make it worthwhile. So he was happy to sit in place, and well, in a spot where you probably wouldn't be expected either. They obviously exit together, just keep themselves secure. Didn't expect them to be sticking around here close, probably presumed to be on the other side of the map somewhere, so didn't even bother with a hunt. 2 rounds left in the half, though. As I said, if Clutch could come back with even 5 on the halftime, that would be decent enough to at least give us a bit of hope heading into that second half. But after another rough round, if things go south on this one, 12-3 will be the more likely scoreline. So a bit of desperation perhaps now, onto the double up again. And, well, it's Stardust this time looking to see if he can find the early opening around B. Did spot the jump across from Cool, and I don't think Cool had the same knowledge.
Oh, Dobu does! That's so sick, dude. That's so sick. The bait and switch. He was so focused, so tunnel vision on that angle. He didn't expect someone to be the other way, 910. Oh, mate, this round is so sick from 910. He's AWPing. Really impressive to see so far. They're not doing anything flashy. He's just nailing every single shot he needs to, Dean. And that's put up a 4th on the board for Clutch Gaming. Listen, 10-5 is in an arm's reach now. Money for the T side isn't great. And 9-10 having a hell of a start here for Clutch Gaming.
That was nasty. Yeah, 9-10, I mean, not really. I mean, he is playing a bit like a cannon-style opper, considering he's just kind of standing his ground in one position, flicking from one side to the other, keeping his eye on 2 angles usually at most times. But he's never fully posted up. He's going in, getting those quick scopes, and just keeping himself very maneuverable. And again, a great opening kill. Barely catches the back there, pushed him on mid. IZR manages to cut off the push there in towards the bomb site as well, isolating the fight on Fury, and allowing for the opera to rotate back in as well and stand his ground. So, yep, 5-on-2, another good round coming through from Clutch. It looks like they will end this half on a high note unless we have a miracle from Yami and Dobu. But as I say that, I realize you've got, I mean, look at how Yami's playing so far. You've got Dobu as well with tons of experience. If you had 2 players who could pull this off, the 2.
Certainly, knowledge and firepower together certainly can put up a bit of a fight. Issue, of course, as they look towards B. Clutch Gaming go aggressive towards A, and that in turn just does mean that there's a gamble stack on the cards. And they probably will pull a lot of their forces around, although, oh my word, I was going to say sloppy from IZR, but Yami, for second best, though, we will also get taken down by the AK. 10-5. Listen, Clutch Gaming, not the greatest of halves team to begin with, but they do just about manage to scrape the bare minimum. 5 rounds, is it going to be enough?
I mean, if they can get that pistol, if they can ensure that they have a clean kind of opening 3 rounds, similar to what Eruption had on their T side, then yeah, it's very, very possible, but I'm not too sure. I mean, we seen Eruption look like the much stronger team overall. Clutch have really relied on the likes of 9, 10 and such to pull off these kind of miracle rounds where they get a quick 3 or 4 kills in succession and the round just kind of spirals out of control so quickly that Eruption aren't able to even think about what happened. That seems to be how most of their losses come about. But I mean, it's up in the air. It's definitely possible. I feel like Eruption should be looking for the victory here themselves. And is this actually the map choice of Clutch? No, it's Eruption choice. Sorry, I'm Mirage then up next. I think we'll probably see Clutch fare a little bit better there for sure. But it is looking like we might have a kind of favorable game overall for Eruption. I think Nuke, as I mentioned, is a really good map though for Clutch. It's just might be a little bit of a struggle getting that far.
Yes, ladies and gents, we're going to head to a quick break though. When we are back, it's the second half underway of Eruption versus Clutch.
All right, we're back. We seem to have the clock up the top fixed as well, which is going to make things a little bit easier for us to keep track of course, here on the second half. As we were saying, though, going into that break, Clutch Game and desperately in need of this pistol round. Cool, looks like he has the silencer off his USB. Interested in Choice. They're not going to actually fully commit to the mid play. Instead, the drop down is how they go for it. But it's into Fury's crosshair. He stands his ground with a quick double, and well, you've got Eruption now in a 4-on-2. The bomb is at least being planted, rather. But IZR is going to have to contend with another 2 players in towards water here if he wants to actually keep this in the realm of possibility, and he's not able to make it happen. Mir also tried to push through the spawn and see if he could cover some ground, maybe take some control, but attempts at aggression quickly punished. 11-5. Eruption taking away what could have been a big lifeline for Clutch.
Yeah. I mean, a bomb plant is super key for that T side, right? Because now you can have 2 decisions. Either you force buy or you take a full eco, and you know you're going to have AK armor for you two in the next. They do opt, of course, for the force buy. It's a full investment made. 3 gills and an AK right now. Stardust yet to buy himself for Eruption. CT side, they are 5 rounds away from taking map 1 here, though, Dean. So backs against the wall here for Clutch Gaming, and really this force buy is do or die for them, because if they win it, they have a chance. If they don't, they have to do it a seriously long round.
I mean, it's understandable considering how much you can actually get with this force buy. It's I mean, in terms of actual weaponry, it's pretty similar to what Eruption got on their second round T side after winning the pistol round. Obviously, they had a lot more utility and such behind it, but you've still got the 4 rifles and AK even included in those 4 rifles. See whether Stardust perhaps goes for the pistol with a bit of utility behind it, just so that they can have something to work with other than that one smoke that the Mir has. Fortunately, we are sitting in another pause for the moment. I wouldn't imagine too long of one, hopefully. Just a quick chat, maybe, if we're lucky. Probably more likely someone's ping spiking, rather. Much more common issue.
Yeah, like the classic like TeamSpeak lag, or like in-game lag, mic stop working, needs to charge the mouse a little bit, you know. The usual gamer problems that we have on these streams. Are you much of a wireless gamer yourself, Dean, or are you a wired mouse gamer?
Yeah, I've got wires.
Oh, mate, what's going on?
I haven't upgraded in a long time, in fairness.
There you go. Well, the next time, you know, you get the paycheck, you can treat yourself. I've moved to wireless. I must admit, I'm now a wireless gamer, and I love it. I absolutely love it. It's you know, very light mouse as well. And yeah, it's quite nice to just no wires. I never thought that luxury would be as impactful as it is.
Yeah, I mean, it is a bit of a pain in the ass trying to keep it out away on the bungee. So yes, I'll definitely look towards the wireless mouse. I don't think I'd bother with a wireless headset, though, because it's always...
No,
you know, you have that friend who has a wireless headset, and he's like, yeah, sorry, I have to charge my headset. I'll play in a half hour or whatever. Like, just get a wired headset, man.
Yeah.
You're sitting still anyway, like, what you need a wireless one for?
Yeah, exactly. Like, at least with a wireless mouse, like, you can plug it in and it works. But a wireless headset, like, if it runs out, you might as well just buy a wired one, because you're gonna have to plug it in anyway, you know? I think, like, does the wire really make that much of a difference? Maybe. I don't know.
No, I mean, you're sitting still. With the mouse, it makes sense because you don't have anything kind of encumbering your movement and stuff. Like, it's just...
Yeah.
It is what it is.
The headset is, like, it's still wire, you know? Oh, no. Get a longer one if it's uncomfortable, you know?
I have an extender. That's my work around. Fury, alright. Actually, didn't get that second kill. Yami stole it, but either way, it's all about the teamwork.
Really nice. Sick beginning.
Oh my God.
Okay. Mate, they just know what they're doing. Aggression, very timely play, very apt that they're working as well as they are as well. Samir does have a little bit of pushback here with the Galil doing a fair chunk of damage as well. Yami backing out of E-Box with only 7 points of health, but again, it's just a 2v4. Another scenario that Clutch Gaming should never be winning, especially with a Stecker falling to the hands of Coolast as well. One man behind Fury, he's able to sideswipe the remaining Rifleman, and that is a force buy that is very, very disappointing for the Clutch Gaming side.
Yeah, it didn't really pan out at all. Small amount of damage only done as well. It's not really going to have too much of a long-term impact, especially with this being a fully going out. There's a good chance Eruption can come through with 4 or 5 standing again. So they'll build up that economy. They'll ensure even if the first gun round goes south that they'll have the shot at just immediately bouncing back. at least give themselves a good opportunity of fighting back. Let's see. Bit of utility for Tamir. Everyone else upgrades some pistols. And, well, Kevlar not even afforded in this round, so I'm not expecting too much from Clutch. The boost, though. Good when you have the op and such with the Deagle, though. It might be a bit of a different story. The M4 going to spot him initially. Actually even reads the push through the smoke. And a very quick flank coming in as well from Yami. Makes it work with the FAMAS. Not my favorite weapon, but clearly it's more than capable of getting the job done, especially when they don't have Kevlar. Quick 4K. Snappy little final headshot as well, and they barely even have to use any of their utility because they just pushed up and got the job done so quickly, so there is very little reinvestment needed.
Indeed, and 3 more rounds to the finish line here for Eruption on their map pick. Dean, we were having a conversation saying how close this game can be, you know, if Clutch Gaming start on the right foot, even though this isn't their map pick, maybe just expecting a closer time here on map 1 than anything else, really. The bar was set pretty low in terms of winning the map. It's definitely Mirage next that we're going to turn our attention to, but that'll be in a few moments from now. Eruption, as I said, a hop, skip and a jump to that finish line to get themselves a map up to none in the BO3, and they are doing it in very fashionable style.
Yeah, the aggression coming through. Stardust, I was actually expecting that. Of course, he knew the action was coming, but wasn't ready for the double peak. Histeka, though, coming in, will manage to trade. A 9-10 pushing, managing to shut down Dobu, rather. Got a little bit out of hand right there. It was hard to keep track of exactly what was going on as we were snapping from kill to kill. But a 4-on-2 means that Clutch Gaming have the time to actually slow it down and get a breather, find out exactly what's going on, and well, ensure that things don't go south, because despite the 4-on-2, you've got 2 players who are on the brink of death. The turret pretty heavily tagged in Tamir as well, so it could still spiral. Oh, I think we've had one of them just drop out. We've got 2 9-10s. 18-20. No, it looks like we're good now. I think that was just a small bug with the hood.
Sick shot. Clutch Gaming looking good. Is this a disconnected? Oh, yeah, I was going to say that looked like Kulasa just lagged out, but no. Oh, the HUD updated. Apparently 9-10's alive on both teams. He's fighting for both teams now. Don't worry. Yeah, I think there is going to be... Histeka now has duplicated. Mitosis just happened for the Clutch Gaming side. Definitely some connection issues here as players, I think, dropping in and out of the server. But that won't change the outcome of the round here, though, Dean. It will be a 6 on the board for Clutch Gaming. They just about managed to hold on. Really nicely done, all in all.
Yeah, I mean, at the very least, an AK being carried over. There's no blood way to rebuy, so just propping up this buy as much as they can possibly. Even with that round being won by Clutch, if they were to lose out this one, they'd be scraping together their next investment, so they can't really afford to let that happen with the current scoreline. It's cool. Just keep his silencer off on his USB. Looks like he does. Either that or getting a weird bug that I haven't seen in years where it just shows it without a silencer. Do you remember that from years ago on GoTV?
I think so. Yeah, like it always looked unsilenced, but you'd like hear the silenced gun sounds, right?
It was years back at this point, I think, before they ended up like doing the tick rate update. Stardust, though, already with the opening kill. I believe catching the push in towards water, and in the meantime, actually managing to, sorry, it was up and towards long. The second kill, though, is it down towards water and towards the E-box. Not really ready for the full commitment onto the bomb site, though, so only now is the ball being brought back around. They leave one lurker on mid. That's Histeka. He shuts down the aggression from Dobu and even notes the Anubis here as well. So at most, there's going to be one player in terms of resistance on that bomb site. So yeah, just pushing together, getting the bomb planted, confirming now that Cool is, of course, back in towards the spawn at this point. And well, you don't want to throw him too many kills considering the economy on Clutch could do a bit of building. And they're actually giving them a lot of chances here. Not expecting another player to up close, so eventually it will be red. There's an off there for them to recover if they want it. They don't get it in time. Either that or they didn't want it. Well, they probably wanted it since 9-10 has bought himself one, but just didn't manage to get it, unfortunately. They've been dropped a little bit further down the steps, I think.
13-7. chances starting to crop up here for Clutch Gaming to try and reap the rewards of T-side. Of course, they were obliterated in the first 15 by Eruption, but now the CT side starting to come to a grinding halt. Certainly starting to push on us here, Dean. And, well, that's a good way to start. Azteca doing a lot of damage to the AK, finishes the job with an aid. Another 5v4 to kick things off here for Clutch Gaming, on par for an 8.
This one shouldn't be too much trouble. Cool though with the deagle could cause some damage. Okay, unfortunately fully committed to it afterwards. Expected just the one-on-one. Does get double peaked once again. Histeka with a little bit of a spam through the doors as well. Takes out Yami. Well, I like that they took the risk of kind of stacking things up here at least a little bit, rather than spreading out the pistols and kind of just getting picked off one by one. It unfortunately doesn't work out. Clutch Gaming had a pretty heavy presence themselves on the other side. It's only Fury left standing, and well, the question is, can he maybe take one more player to the grave? 2, perhaps. That would be a decent result. Timing.
Nope, not happening. 1 kill, a singular frag for Eruption here on the Eco. Of course, they can now bring out the rifles, but again, Dean, no real financial repercussion here for Clutch Gaming. They can start to build their empire quite nicely here on the C side for Eruption. Now's the time to cut it out before it gets too big and too difficult to tackle. Certainly the scoreline in their favour, but, you know, a couple of rounds down the line, should Eruption lose it all, then things do get really scary.
Yeah, I mean, you can see the comeback where it could come from at this point. They've still a lot of work to do, but really this gun round goes their way suddenly. It's double digits already on the board for Clutch, and another gun round or two could start tying things up. So Eruption should be definitely slightly worried considering how dominant it was at one point with a 9-1 scoreline. Aggression up through A. Shinobi, I don't think, gonna commit too heavily. Just tosses the nade in. It'll keep them, at the very least, guessing that there is likely a player pushed forward. They'll expend time and also utility if they want to recover that ground. Or I might even just keep them away for the moment. Instead, up through B, and Stardust caught out in the open. Didn't expect that double peek and didn't expect such a perfect flashover. Apparently had no chance to react. Cool going to shut down his take in towards middle as well, and seems to have forced the hand at this point of them to just commit towards the A-bomb site, and that's true. What looks to be a pretty solid smoke there, just revealing the legs on their knee, making things very, very difficult. Dobu will they get out of harm's way there at least and avoid the op shot. Really, they just don't really want to give 9-10 any chances. He had a ridiculous first half. Kept catching all of these kills whenever he was peaked with the quick scopes, so I was a little bit worried right there that he'd start chaining together a few, but they don't let that happen. 14-8, 6 rounds again in the difference. Eruption now on the brink of taking themselves onto map point, so Clutch really do need to be damn near flawless from this point forward if they want to make a comeback happen.
As I said, that was like the must-need round for Eruption, right? Had they have lost that, the money would have been set back to 0. Clutch Gaming, they'd be on to 9, and, you know, they'd really start to snowball some success on their T side. Now, does feel like they've been a little bit winded. Nice push from Azteca. Stardust as well, finding damage. And, I mean, look at this, man. It goes from, you know, sulkiness and misery in the last to nothing but brightness in the next. It's a really decent display. 3 kills in the first 15 seconds. Eruption now left in a 2v5 to wind back from. I don't see that one happening.
No, I mean, the smoke didn't go down. Perhaps there was the chance there if he could have isolated the initial fight against 9-10, but now they've been locked out of the bomb site. It's going to be planted. Unfortunately, the molly isn't going to get the job done that he hoped for, which would have been to maybe even delay that bomb plant for the rotation to come in. I don't think they want to go for it, though, despite not having a great economy. An AK and an op would be both very valuable to be saved over. Might even perhaps get a second op here off of Stardust, but no, despite being 12 health, manages to actually win out that battle.
Looking good.
I don't know if saving this op is great. I mean, they have decent loss bonus rate. Is it 2,900 they're going to get, or 2,400? Let's see now for sure. No, only 1,900. Oh, yeah. Oh, no! Damn it, okay. I mean, that sucks. I was going to say saving the op might tempt them to force around it, which, I mean, wouldn't have been a great idea. I think now they'll probably at least take the eco, but it would have been nice to have the op alongside the pistols.
Pause to come in. Probably wondering what the hell just happened with the AWP. Looked like such an easy save. Not even a hard shot to hit, but it's those that get you the most panicked is when you're trying to save and, you know, your back's against the wall. Got to take the fight. Nobody can let it go by. And, yeah, just squeezes the trigger. Doesn't hit the shot. Rest is history. 14-9. 2 more rounds needed for Eruption, but they're going to have to wait another before they bring forward the rifles.
Flashes at least. We might see some aggression. It looks like through B. I've already seen this punished a couple of times. Stardust caught off guard by the double push previously, so holding much more passively this time. Already a bit of damage here done by a nade, I believe, onto Cool. He doesn't care. Alright, quick headshot. Took 1 bullet to the body before just claiming the kill. Stuck aggressive at this point, considering Aztec is pushed in. Can't really fall back, has now lost his support as well, so should be pretty quickly neutralized. The threat anyway there by Clutch, as you can see, dealing with the pistols and, well, really just giving themselves a lot of time to work with here. They don't have to push the issue. They know they're against the weaker weapons. They've got the man advantage. They've got the weapon advantage. Everything really in their favor. It's their round to lose. Oh, the timing.
Great shot, though, from Fury. Thing is, as well, that's going to draw eyes. I was thinking maybe Dobu could swing and catch off the AWP. 9-10 does eventually find it. Shinobi, we know exactly where he is. Clutch Gaming is probably going to run to the other side of the map. I'm wondering if he can scoop a gun here, or if he heard that drop from Azteca, because if he's able to take down the rifleman, good chance he can win this round, but good repositioning, swings out even further. Shinobi expects him to tuck in, and just caught off guard by the wider swing. 14-10. Double digits now for the T side. This is a more apt scoreline. This is what we were expecting.
Yeah, I was expecting this with a bit of back and forth maybe in the initial stages, but once we had Eruption of 9-1, I thought, okay, yeah, they should have this in the bag, but no, that hasn't really been the case, unfortunately for them. Fortunately so for Clutch. And for us, I'd say. We get an enjoyable game. Been some exceptional rounds in terms of individual plays. That's what kept Clutch initially in it, and then they've been keeping that up as with a bit more of a team effort in doing so as well, I'd say. Definitely looking more at home here on the T side. They have a slower play. I've seen a few more smokes actually being utilized by Clutch here as well, just to keep them kind of held off around middle. Small bit of nade damage onto Dobu, but nothing too substantial here in the early stages. They've actually called the op in instead to try and deal with this once the smoke's faded away. Azteca might not be expecting it. Does have a player ready to swing on the other side, and that ensures the trade at least. Cool, just putting himself a bit too exposed to get that initial frag.
Timing not on his side. Oh, close towards E-Box. That M4 needs to find the frag. Yami looking the wrong way here. Fury actually just go towards E-Box as well to hold his teammate's hand and help out in the pressure, and trying to be alleviated here with a bit of a beat play. Yami timing, that is unfortunate. He's going to spot one running out as well. Fury caught with his pants down as well. It's all down to Dobu, can't connect a shot, and that is horrific from Eruption. All caught on bad timing, and there you have it. 14-11. Clutch Gaming getting this even closer.
I'm really starting to believe at this point. I feel like they have a good chance at potentially pulling this off. I mean, it's tough always on the T side. You make maybe one bad call and suddenly a round can spiral out of control, but so far they're looking pretty solid at these mid-round calls and have definitely stepped it up multiple notches in the individual department compared to what we've seen in the initial kind of string of rounds. And this pause has got to be a tactical finally from Eruption. Have a chat about what they're going to do. They can't even buy into this round, so it's going to be an eco, a few pistols maybe being upgraded. Most of the focus, though, it's going to be on this next round when the guns can come out again. If that goes south, it'll be 13 for Clutch. Probably a 14th off the back of it as well. Leaving them with very few chances to actually get over this finish line.
(14-11), gap down to 3. And I mean, what, it was 10-5, and then Eruption won the pistol as well?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's one of those I don't think either of us would have seen coming. But ultimately, it's the cards that they're dealt with.
Yeah, I don't think Eruption saw it coming either. They were probably
No.
real comfortable at 9-1 and maybe got a little bit too relaxed.
Yeah, I think that's certainly the case, right? Like, they probably thought, oh, as soon as they won the pistol, Eruption just, you know, reclined the seats a little bit. They're like, you know what? We're chilling. We're out in front. No real way we should be losing this competition, this contest in map 1. And then there you have it. It's done. It is indeed looking scary. Looking real scary. 2 more rounds for Eruption, but Clutch Gaming only 3 behind.
A little bit of a wild push around the smoke there. Had backup from 2 players. They just weren't quite ready to help him out. Eventually, though, the Deagle getting some work done on the other side of the map. The follow-up in towards mid as well, but it's all being shut down, and a staker from above. Well, he has, I was going to say 2 easy kills, but Tamir joins in on the action as well. Either way, they get that one wrapped up quickly. It's 12 on the board for Clutch, and, well, Eruption in with one of the last gun rounds potentially here for themselves. This one has to work. They've gone for the double up setup again as well. Yami going to be rocking the secondary one. He's had a pretty slow time since, I presume, reconnecting. Did he reconnect at some point? 1 and 6 since then. Was top of the scoreboard initially on that first half as well. Ooh, push straight through A. Alright, a little bit wild. No utility or anything. Just a straight up dry peek from Shinobi. And it pays off. Considering how the last few rounds have been going, I'm surprised that they're willing to just take all of these dry peaks, but it's working out for them this time. Good damage on the Stardust as well.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about utility in the first portion of the first half being so limited for Clutch Gaming, and now when they have, like, all of the extra trimmings, you know, smokes, mollies, nades, everything, just don't opt to use it. Instead, want to take the dry fights, and, well, there we have it. 4v4 now, at least the numbers brought back level. Stekker's got to be careful. Locked into doors. Going to be spotted crossing back. Shinobi trying his best to deal the spam. Ultimately, though, this is only a ploy. The rest of the force moving in towards B. Yami's AWP patiently waiting.
Yeah, they do still have that damage at least done on towards Stardust. They help them out. Although, I think this commitment's going to come in pretty quickly towards B here, and unfortunately Yami's left completely alone. This flank is going the other direction at the moment. The off needs to try and at least pick one off, and I think that's enough at this point to just try and stay alive. The problem is the flank won't allow him to. Shinobi at least quick on the return. So they keep this man advantage in their back pocket at the very least, and Stardust cancels the plant a little bit too soon. That's going to allow Eruption to start swarming in. As you can see, it beats them into Tamir perfectly, though. I don't think that was the intention, but it works in their favor for the moment. It's Fury now all alone, low health on both players as he snatches up Stardust already, and the molly forces the hand of Tamir.
Beautiful.
Had to try and take the peek and see if he could just manage to get that kill quickly, and, well, with such low health, he's not really got... He didn't really have too great of a chance. A 15th round finally confirmed for Eruption. It is a long time coming, but it gives them a small bit of breathing room, of course, with, at the very least, the overtime being confirmed. 3 opportunities to get it over that finish line as well.
Map point for the side of Eruption took well longer than expected. I think, you know, had all of the rounds played out as they should have, we'd probably be halfway through Mirage right now. Instead, Anubis, I mean, giving us a bigger sample size to have a look at for us personally, Dean, and for everyone at home to keep their eye on how to play. Ultimately, had don't think a scenario, especially from 11-5, 10-5 up and winning the pistol, this isn't the position we expected to see Eruption be in, looking so weak and so abusable here on the CT side. One more to the finish line here, though. Let's see if they can do it here and make it an easy 16-12.
You can see even how it's been slowed down even more so by Clutch coming into this round. You've got the extra pressure now on their shoulders. They had that tiny bit of room to work with before. Not anymore. Looking like they're setting up for a split in towards A. We haven't really seen any straight up splits, so we'll see how this pays off. IZR catches the aggression. It's followed up though, the up able to trade. Tamir, I believe, was setting up a smoke at that moment, or at least had some sort of utility in his hand, so wasn't able to do anything to help out his teammate. And well, the push isn't going all that well. Stardust with a trade, but Dobu in from main with the AK and found himself an upgrade and made it worthwhile. His staking out all alone in the 1-on-2. Should at least find the bomb plant. They're going to wait out. Eruption just want to work together on this retake, not wanting to give him any chances for a 1v1. So that lets him reposition.
Back turn though, and yeah, sideswiped. AWP is there to collect, and Dean, there we have it, mate. A very prolonged end to map 1, but it is one that goes in the way of the favourites. It's Eruption that take Anubis 16-12, and now it's Clutch that need the reverse sweep on their pick of Mirage next. I don't know, mate. I'm pretty intrigued to see how that one pans out, because I don't think either of us expected a scoreline this close after the first 15 rounds.
No, and the shift in momentum as well, with Clutch really having come back in, putting themselves just looking a lot better really as that map went on. It makes me believe that we could still see them take this series, because they have Mirage coming up. It's their choice. I wouldn't say it puts them massively favored, because it is Mirage. Really, everyone should be able to play it. And we also know, of course, Eruption have some pretty